What's up, Achievers? Jason Pack here. Today, I'm going to give you one tip that's going to instantly increase your deadlift. So at first glance, a deadlift seems pretty simple and uncomplicated. It seems like you just pick it up and put it back down.
Use the strength circuit.
I lift things up and put them down.
Over here,
I lift things up and put them down.
There's actually a lot of nuances in terms of performing the lift well. You want to make sure that you position your body in the best possible position to then produce force into the ground to actually lift the barbell up. So it's not quite as simple as just lifting it up. One mistake that we commonly see with beginners is they approach the barbell and then from there they just use their arms or their upper body or their backs to lift up the bar. And the reason they're doing this is because they're rushing the setup process. You want to make sure that you wedge yourself between the bar and the floor in order for you to then use your lower body efficiently and push down into the floor. So this concept is known as wedging, and here's how you do it. So get into your same exact setup position. So you walk up to the barbell, the bar is right above your middle of your foot, and then from there you hinge back in order to grab the bar with your hands. Here's the tricky part. Instead of just lifting up, what I want you to do is pull up on the bar while simultaneously bringing your hips slightly lower towards the floor. This accomplishes two things. Number one, it puts your lower body actually in a position to push into the floor, whereas if you were slightly more forward, your hips would shoot up and the transfer of force would be more towards your lower back. And number two, you do something called pulling the slack out of the barbell. I want you to picture this. Imagine a weight plate. And now imagine that opening where the barbell actually slides through. Because the opening is going to be a little bit bigger than the barbell, there's going to be some sort of wiggle room right between those two objects. Your goal here is to not lose any energy or efficiency. So your goal is to try to push that barbell, the edge of the barbell, directly up against that opening. Now this is a matter of millimeters, so it might be tough to see or tough to feel when you're at the barbell, but here's a better visual example. So I have a yoga wheel here, and I also have a perfect push-up handle. So by pushing that perfect push-up handle up against that yoga wheel, now we've really limited any sort of wiggle room and any potential loss of energy. And so now here's a visual representation of what it looks like when you're not wedging versus when you are wedging. Now it's really important to not wedge so much that you actually drop your hips too far below your knees and turn it into more of a squatting pattern, because when that happens, the bar will start to shift away from you. Also, wedging too far makes it so that your shoulders drift behind the bar too much, and it makes it so that the bar path comes out way too far out in front of you, which again leads to a lot of inefficiency. So remember the three absolutes. We want to make sure that the barbell is directly over your midfoot. We want to make sure that your shoulders are above your hips and your hips are above your knees to ensure that hinging pattern. And lastly, you want to make sure that the armpit is directly over the bar cap in order to lead to an optimal bar path. Now, wedging is going to be a really difficult concept to master and understand, so what we'd recommend you do is actually practice just the wedge. Don't even deadlift the barbell. Practice just the wedge in your warm-ups. What we do with our members at Achieve is we have them approach the bar and do 5 sets of 3-second wedges where they get right into position but don't actually lift up the barbell. It's also important to note that you want to wedge with a weight that is comparable or higher than a weight that you would normally use to deadlift. If it's too light, what's going to happen is the barbell starts to lift off the floor too much and it becomes very difficult to really feel what it feels like to actually wedge yourself between the barbell and the floor. So try out wedging during your warm-ups before your next deadlift day and see how it feels. I hope this tip helped you out. If it did, please hit that little thumbs up icon below, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, peace, love, and muscles.